Morning everyone, welcome to this class. As we are discussing our chapter number 8, that is confronting marginalization. In our previous class, we have already discussed about fundamental rights, how fundamental rights protect the interest of marginalized group so that they can enjoy equal status in the society, they can enjoy freedom, equal freedom like others, and they can enjoy their own religion, they can practice their own religious customs without any interference. And government also provides certain helps if they need it at any time. So all these we discussed in our previous class. Today we will continue this chapter and we learn about some important laws for marginalized group. So let's start our class.
Laws for the marginalized groups. Now, moving on to understand what are the laws that are made to get these marginalized groups to upgrade them. Just only making the fundamental rights like right to equality, right to freedom, right against discrimination, or cultural and educational rights does not confine the role of the government. It is through various services, various programs, various understanding, the governments formulate certain plans in order to bring social justice. So, in order to promote social justice in our country, we can understand that in our society there is a clear-cut gap between the highly economically strong people and economically weaker people. In the words of Karl Marx, we call them as have and have not, the rich and the poor, the working class and the ruling class. So, what are maybe the class there is a gap between the human being itself. In order to fill the gap between the lower section people and the higher section people and to attain equality and equitable society, it is the utmost responsibility of the government to ensure and to promote social justice. So, in this process of ensuring social justice, the government has implemented various schemes like special schemes are allotted for the scheduled caste people, the Dalits, the Dalit people, the Adivasis, and these people through various schemes are given an opportunity to get themselves educated, to get themselves enrolled in education, and if necessary government provides certain hostels for them, because when they are migrating from their home places to a very good city where the education is available for them, they may not be able to pay the fees. Economically, they are not so strong. So the government ensures for them to have a good stay by establishing hostels for them, and it also provides certain facilities for them like scholarship facility and reservation facilities are also there, because they are coming from very undeveloped villages, completely undeveloped villages, may not have the proper educational approach for them. So a student who is studying in a city will have much awareness about how the examination goes on, how to write the examination, how to secure good marks. He may have various sources available for them to score more and more marks. But when it comes to the people who are staying in villages, they may not have any internet facility. Teacher may not be available for them in number, and they may have very limited access to the technology. So all these things confine their approach to a very limited level or to the textual approach only. So the amount of marks they got and the amounts of mark they get, even if they get half, they are considered to be qualified, and certain seats are reserved for them, and it is not necessary that all those who attend the examination from that particular category or caste people will be given chances to study equally with a well-equipped class group. No, those who have done better than the other groups, so there is a fixed cutoff given, and this cutoff, if you cross these cutoff marks, even though you are in a backward caste, you will be given the chance to study very good quality of education. Like this, the government always tries to build a social equitable society, which is economically may not be so strong, but government through these schemes tries to promote education to that particular groups of people. As rightly Nelson Mandela mentioned that the most powerful weapon of the 21st century is education, through which you can eradicate poverty and to bring hopes in the lives of millions of people. So the government wants to bring the lights and hopes in millions of people's lives, those who belongs to the scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, the Adivasi groups, or all the other marginalized groups, that promoting education in them. So how do we recognize whether these people are in the category of that particular backward classes or not? They will be certified by the people, government officials through the local government or panchayat, who certified that these people belongs to a particular tribal group only, which is entitled in the constitution of our country. So then only these all people who are being certified by the local bodies will be eligible to get the facilities which are provided by the government under the schemes to uplift the people of the scheduled caste people, scheduled tribal people, or the backward classes people, or the Adivasis group people. However, it is they have to certify it, then only they can be able to avail all the opportunities whatever there is given by the government. Otherwise, there is a threat that the this category people, that is the non backward classes people, also may utilize these opportunities and may give a problem for the people who are actually belong to that category of people. See, if there is no awareness among this category of people, then the seats will be taken away by the other categories people. So instead of these people developing, they harm their living conditions. Day by day it comes down, where the other categories people are far ahead than them. So in order to fill the gap, we need to strictly ensure certain policies of reservations, and supporting hand should be there until they are able to come capable and compete with the others. Now we will see how the rights of the Dalits and the Adivasis are protected by our constitution. We will look at a case which was a real life incident which happened, so that we can understand how the lower caste people or the Dalit or the Adivasis are treated or ill-treated by the higher caste people or powerful caste people. So let us see here. We are now talking about a village called Jakmangalur. In this Jakmangalur village, we have a different custom. That is, once in every 5 years, Ratnam's family members, Ratnam's family belongs to a group of Dalits who stay in that village, where we all know that Dalits are belonging under the category of the scheduled caste and the scheduled tribes, or according to the Manu Dharma Shastra, they belongs to the fourth state, that is the Shudras. So the Shudras are considered as the downtrodden people. These people are denied to come into the temple. They denied the entry into the temple. They are denied to sit and have common dining with other categories of people, and they are not allowed to have water from the public tanks also. So there was a severe discrimination against this particular group of people in the society. So now Ratnam's family has to perform a tradition of to the local deity. That is, for every 5 years, the local deity festival is organized. A special ceremony is being held. For that ceremony, from nearby 20 villages, they get priests from the nearby 20 villages, and they stay in the village for the next 5 days. When they are staying for the 5 days, on the first day, the members of the Ratnam's family has to wash the legs of all the 20 priests who came from the 20 villages or more than that, and he has to bath with that water. This really very humiliating if you listen to that situation only. So this was being performed only by Ratnam's father and Ratnam's grandfather. Who is Ratnam actually here? Ratnam is a 20-year-old boy who is doing his engineering in the college in the nearby city. So now he has access to what is a law, what is equality. He know how the modern societies are and how the discrimination is here in the villages. He is able to differentiate what is happening to him is discrimination. They are discriminating him, they are humiliating him, they are making him to wash the legs of other humans in front of the entire village, and he has to bath with the same water which was which the legs with which the legs are being washed, which is really not acceptable. So he started to reject it. He refused it to do this kind of customs. And then all the powerful caste in that village got very much angry, and all the same caste member also were afraid and scared that that could trigger the anger of the powerful caste against them. Now, these all Dalits or the low caste people are actually earning their livelihood by working in the fields of the powerful caste group people. So tomorrow if they get angry and they stop calling these people to work, it would be very difficult for them to find a livelihood for them. So they were scared on that point of view, and the powerful caste people got very much angry, and they felt that how much arrogant the Dalit is, and he's raising his voice against the customs. Maybe this is because he is studying in the engineering college in the nearby town or the city. So now they started to target that particular family, that is ostracize the family. They have informed all the community members that no one will call this family people to work, or even their own caste people also. They own caste people also were forced to not to talk with this family. So this is called ostracize. Ostracize means making them to be separate. Generally, we think that only movies this kind of things happen, but in India today also we have many villages where the village head do command and other follow, and they give very humiliating treatment when they found someone is working or talking against the existing atrocities in that village. That was the same treatment was met with Ratnam's family. They were forced to get ostracized, and he was very much upset with this, but finally he never gave his attitude of washing the legs of the other priests who are coming from the different villages. So when he went to the police station and gave a complaint against the atrocities which are made against him, how he was being forced to perform our religious rituals on the name of a religion. There are many atrocities that are happening in the villages. Many of his own caste people also started to say that the local deity may curse this particular caste people. But in reality, Ratnam's question was very straight and clear. When we have never entered a temple, how can the local deity know who am I? When we are not allowed for many centuries and many generations into the temple, is there any possibility for the local deity to know anything about me? So there is no fear that the local deity would do something for him. But the local powerful caste people decided to do something by ostracizing these people, and he filed a complaint also against this particular caste people and these powerful caste groups through the SCs and STs Act of 1989, through which prevention of atrocities, untouchabilities, and the inhuman treatment meted to him through this. And these powerful caste people went to an extent that in the night time they have sent some people to burn the house of Ratnam's family also. So how did the government protect the right of this kind of groups in this kind of situation? So this we will discuss in our next class. So this much for today.